Hey folks, Steve here with a unboxing video of World War One Deluxe Edition published by Decision Games. Real quick, couple of things about this one. It is a reprint of a game that's been around for, I think at this point, a couple of decades and was originally a magazine game. Obviously covering World War One. It's gone through a couple of different editions with slight design changes over the years. I think the latest edition here is mostly based on the 2015 printing. I think that printing was a Ziploc game with a paper map. This being the deluxe edition with what was advertised as a mounted board. I think it has maybe twice as many counters as maybe the last edition based on what I've read so far. The shrink's still on it, so we're about to find out. It is mostly a low complexity, relatively quick to play. I think within probably under a dozen hours to play version of World War One. So I figured I'd pick this up. The price was right. It was about $60 US, and then plus shipping. So we're gonna try to break through the shrink here and see what we got. So a second here. Looks like this box is about what I would consider standard box size, similar or equivalent to something you might see from GMT games or Compass games. I think this might actually be the first Decision Games product that I've actually owned physically. I have their new version of Imperium Romanum pre-ordered, but that's not out yet. So I'll go ahead and just take the lid off here, and we'll take a closer look at the content. So just opening it up here, looks like we've got a single die. I think this game just uses a D6 for all of its resolutions. And some baggies. Just it looks like maybe we've got 2 or 3 baggies total, which hopefully is enough, maybe enough. I think in past editions of this game it was like 100 counters or something like that. I think this edition is more like a little over a couple hundred. So I guess top here is we've got a rulebook. It does look to be a color rulebook. The paper is not glossy, so I think this would be pretty easy to write on with a pencil if you needed to add errata manually. Almost looks sort of like a news paper front, but not quite. Looks like we're approaching, what, 32 pages for this rulebook. It's got some charts in the back, and then I believe there are some charts in the middle. I think this middle section here, right smack dab in the middle of the rulebook, actually comes out, and that's why you sort of see there's a sort of miniaturized version of the map for a later mid-war scenario. You can see front lines for Scenario 4, Battle for Europe. I think that's like a 1916 or 17 scenario that's in the game, so a little bit of a preview of things there. Then otherwise, looks like it's a pretty standard rulebook, 2-column format. I've actually read the rules already because Decision Games did publish or provide the PDF online, so I've read through that. And the game actually looks like it'll be a nice little low complexity, quick playing World War One game. So we'll see. I'm probably going to try to do some gameplay of this over time to see how it does. It looks like here's the counter sheet. Looks like there's just the one. So it's, I believe, British, Austria-Hungary, sort of this yellow color. Germany, Ottomans are this tan color, which is going to throw me off big time because I'm used to the Commonwealth or British being that khaki tan color. Miners, French, Russia being an Imperial Russia green. Control markers, a few other things you can see. The units are army level, and they have an attack and a defense rating. And on the back, they are the entrenched version, so a unit can use its movement to become entrenched. Obviously, that's going to have various effects on gameplay there, covering World War I with the trenches and all that good stuff. There actually is something interesting with the gameplay of this game, that you take losses, not necessarily in losses of counters, but you can choose to take losses from your mobilization points, which is sort of a catch-all for industrial capacity, morale. I worry a little bit that maybe it is too much, all one thing, all one resource, but it plays into the strategy and how you choose to take losses, and there are ways to completely eliminate units. It's just harder to. So it looks like this is just the counter sheet, the one counter sheet for the game. Counter sheet's not super thick. I would say this is sort of standard, flimsier counter quality. Nothing like a deluxe from a company like GMT, where they would go all out and give you really thick counters. This is, probably an improvement from magazine, but only slightly. So deluxe is, I think the deluxe aspect of this printing is going to come in with the map, which we'll try to get taken out. So baggies and dice, rulebook, which again, the middle section of the rulebook is going to come out, and that's going to be the player aid, I believe. So that's why there's not an additional one here, and maybe it is just that one player aid. But this is a two-player game, so I guess you just pass it back and forth, or you set it beside you if you're trying to figure out what you're playing, or whatever you're trying to look at. Okay, set the counters aside. So here's the map, and I'm going to maybe try to get this folded out for a second. So we'll set you down, and we'll open up the mat. Does come inside an additional bag, so we'll get that open. Looks like the mounted map is actually in a pretty decent thickness. Yeah, that's actually pretty good thickness for a mounted map, for what I would expect for a mounted map game. And then, let's see, I'm going to swing it this way for the camera. So let's take a look here now at what we got. Moving some stuff out of the way so we can get a proper view here. So here then is the map. Like a lot of mounted maps, there's a little bit of, so you can see a little bit of pooching that you can flatten out with plexiglass, or just giving it a little counter bending. So here's the map. Standard map, I would say, 24 by 36 dimensions, more or less, running from eastern France and Belgium, Netherlands region through Germany, off into Russia, and it looks like the map stops just at Kiev and Minsk, with Riga up there as well. Then you can see it's got some of the Balkans, the main section of Italy that saw the war is there, and then sort of in a the map breaks, and you're sort of given a look of the Middle Eastern areas over here, and it's a little, I'm trying to get the right view of it. So here's Egypt, and then up through, Jerusalem, Damascus, and then over here towards Iraq, and then the border with Russia over here in the Caucasus. So it's sort of, they took a bite out of the map and they placed it over here. You got different things like that mobilization point track, so that's tracking the resources. You got some off-map boxes, holding boxes for various markers and eliminated units or available units. Same thing over here for the central power side. A little bit of a terrain map key. On here you can see that there are cities, there are various icons, like the little factory symbol here means, I believe, it's a mobilization center. And then there might also be resource places or flags that represent objective hexes. And obviously, you know, those are going to be hexes of importance that you'll want to take during the course of the game. It's a pretty simple economic production model, but the one thing I do like, based on the rules that I read, is that you do have a good bit of latitude in choosing how you want to spend those mobilization points on building new units, or you can build extensions for the railroads. There's a couple of different things all tied up in that. You can check the PDF if you're interested. Only thing being, you know, obviously whatever you're spending, you're hoping is going to pay off in victories in the war, because otherwise, whatever you spend from your mobilization points, you're also going to be losing points from combat losses. So it's this sort of a weird dynamic there. But yeah, so that's it. It's the deluxe edition because of the mounted map. The counters are, you know, kind of standard quality, nothing too crazy. They're decent size. They're not half-inch counters. They're you know, look like they're going to do the job right. Rulebook's pretty good, pretty decent. No complaints here. And then again, they give you a couple of bags and a single die, which, you know, obviously folks will tend to use their own dice or add dice or whatever. And that's really the whole package. Again, not a terribly expensive package, but you know, it's just going to be up to, I guess, you to decide. You know, is it worth? You know, I think it ends up being, you know, the last folio edition that had the paper map was $40 US. This deluxe edition was $20 more. That $20 really getting you the mounted map. Obviously, there's some rules updates and errata and additional things in here, optional rules, that kind of make this a better edition than the last one. But overall, I'm happy with what I'm seeing here. The map is nice, you know, colorful in the right ways, clear to read. I think you can get pretty much all the pieces here. You're not going to have counters sitting over there or in a cup. You can kind of get, I think, everything on these boxes, and then you're just playing the game from there. You don't need anything extra, which is nice. So probably isn't going to take up a huge amount of table space besides just the map. But there you go. So Decision Games World War I Deluxe Edition. Pretty neat. Worth a look. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.